I actually thought of an idea for a Mexican-Canadian superhero called Saskatchewan.
Oh, God.
Dude, what? He would fight tyranny in America from both sides.
I'd vote for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the newest comic duo, Davis, a dabbler in many disciplines with a voice that can soothe and persuade. Mike, a fanatical specialist with a mouth like a bullhorn, fueled by strong opinions and a compulsion to share them, with microphones and comics in hand. They are Jacks of Trades.
Hey, everybody. I'm Mike.
And I'm Davis.
And this is Jacks of Trades. On Jacks of Trades, we read, review, and rate trade paperbacks and graphic novels from major and indie comic publishers. We're not experts. We just love hanging out and talking about comics. How you doing, Davis?
You know what? I'm doing pretty well. This is our first PM recording. We're recording at night. It's going to be, I think we're going to be a little calmer. A little bit calmer.
I don't know.
The light of the moon is just not going through the curtains at all, and we're still underneath the same lights and the same wonderful studio provided to us by In-Depth Media.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. And for the first time, we have one of our editors in here, Mr. Daniel.
No. He's been here once before. Twice before. 3 times a lady.
Second.
So okay,
This is the second time.
okay. So next time he'll be the 3rd time a lady.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Let's get over to today's trade. Today we are doing Wolverine.
Wolverine what?
Just call Wolverine.
Just Wolverine?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Wolverine by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. So this is a Marvel comic. This particular version of the trade was from 2009. The original was a miniseries from 1982 to 83. It was Wolverine number 1 through 4. And then with this 2009 iteration of the trade, they added in Uncanny X-Men 172 and 173, which is the X-Men story immediately succeeding the Wolverine miniseries. The Wolverine miniseries, like I said, 82 to 83. This particular X-Men run, which I kind of miss about, Marvel Comics and a lot of DC now, is 1963 to 2011.
Yeah.
That was how long this run was.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of 100 numbers anymore, which is kind of disappointing.
Well, about the time that I quit reading comic books in college, I stopped reading around Spider-Man 609, and then I had Hulk 600 something or another.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they ended Spider-Man at like 800 something.
Somewhere in there, and right now they've rebooted a couple times. I think I'm on issue number 20 something at this point. Anyway, like I said, the creators, Chris Claremont, he is the most famous and prolific X-Men writer, arguably. He had the helm from 75 to 91.
Damn.
Some notable characters he created, Rogue, Psylocke, Phoenix, Mystique, Sabretooth, Gambit, and a bunch of others because it was a long list and I wasn't writing them all down.
At least you got the notable ones that were in the TV show.
Yeah, and he took Wolverine from this minor X-Men character. Actually, this a minor Hulk character initially. He was first created just to be a villain. Not a villain, but somebody who could actually fight the Hulk and not be immediately obliterated, all the way into this kind of personality of note and really famous character that we know and love today.
I would say single-handedly the most popular out of all of the X-Men, possibly the most popular mutant, maybe the most popular Marvel character of all time.
Yeah, you can make a strong argument for that.
Yeah, I mean, hell, he's been in 8 movies now?
He's the only only continuously successful part of the X-Men franchise. Movie-wise, at least.
True.
Yeah.
No love for what's his face Marsden. Played Cyclops.
Oh yeah, nobody cares. Yeah.
Nobody likes Cyclops anyway.
He's kind of a dick.
He's kind of whiny.
The artist for this one is Frank Miller, known for Dark Knight Returns,
and
300,
and
Sin City,
and
the lyrics to Ninja Rap from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The
What?
Secret of the Ooze.
what?
Yes. Anyway, 2 powerhouse creators. Now, some noteworthy things about this story. It was Wolverine's first solo book. His first ongoing came in 88 and ran to 2003. It is the source material for 2013's The Wolverine movie. Loosely based. There was some liberties taken, obviously.
A lot of liberties.
This story features Wolverine's longest running costume, his brown and yellow. That was a 10-year suit, sequentially 10 years. The blue and yellow color scheme is featured more often, but in various styles and different details. And it's the origin of Wolverine's catchphrase, "I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do isn't very nice."
But not Bub.
No, I don't think so. We decided to do Wolverine because by the time this episode comes out, Logan will have been in the theaters for a couple weeks, and we figured we should do some kind of Wolverine story. Right. But why would we do this trade over Old Man Logan Volume 1 by Brian Michael Bendis?
Is it because people have a good reference of this thing to that really good Wolverine solo movie that came out as compared to the bad Wolverine solo movie that came out?
Ish.
Okay.
Yeah, Old Man Logan was just a weird book, the first one. The current ongoing is much more kind of normal-ish for a comic book, but the first one was real weird. Real
yeah, well, dude, it's him and Hawkeye, who's blind, in the spider buggy, doing a cross-country road trip.
Yeah, it's
with the Venom symbiote taking over dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's a weird one. This one, it's pretty much the origin of the Wolverine we know. Like, this is where he started. One of those let's know our roots kind of situations. Plus, a lot of what we cover is more contemporary work. We don't do a lot of older work. I think the oldest thing we've done was Killing Joke. So anyway, let's get down to issue 1.
All right.
The Wolverine. So we open with a short series of scenes that kind of introduce you to Wolverine and his kind of moral compass, pretty much. Of course, it starts with his catchphrase, "I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do best isn't very nice." So Wolverine's tracking down a grizzly bear that killed 15 people. Unfortunate.
Well, I mean,
so he kills it. He kills it because he's Wolverine.
And not only just kills it, but he's doing this internal monologue about, "The predator knows where I am. I know the predator too well." And then he just slices its thing's arm off.
It would make a wonderful hunting show.
Have you seen hunting shows?
Have you seen Meat Eater with Steve Rinella?
All the ones that I've seen are just, and we're just going to sit up in this tree until we find our nice doe.
Yeah, no, they don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, kills this bear and discovers the bear has an illegal poisoned arrow in its back, which pretty much caused it to kind of go all ballistic and bananas.
Made it go into berserker mode?
Yes, Davis, yes.
Okay.
So he tracks down this hunter and turns the hunter into the cops. So basically we learn his code is he's the alpha predator. He's prepared to get his hands dirty, but he also believes in levels of accountability.
Right.
Like, you can't discipline the bear, unfortunately, but you can discipline the hunter.
And again, this being the beginning scene in the Wolverine movie.
Yeah. So anyway, at the very least, it grounds him in the beginning of not being a complete animal. He has some semblance of rules and a code. We see Wolverine boarding a plane, which seems kind of odd right out the gate. Just, hey, I went from killing a bear to I'm getting on a plane. But we find out that he is in love. Wolverine's in love with this wonderful Japanese woman
named Mariko Yashida.
Yeah. She's a Japanese noble woman. So he's found out that he's been sending her letters, and her letters are coming back unopened. He tries calling the family estate, and he gets hung up on.
So obviously, whenever you yourself, there's a woman you're trying to get in contact with in another country, and you can't get in contact with her, and you send her, because this is the 80s, letters, and call her. Well, if she doesn't pick up, what's the next logical explanation?
You go to her house.
You go to her house.
Yeah.
So you fly to Japan to go see her.
Absolutely. So once he gets there, he finds out that she's been married off by her father, Lord Shinjin,
who just returned back into her entire life. Like, she was.
Yeah,
she even said she was the head of the clan.
And she was the matriarch
until her dad shows up, and she's like, "Well, I know you've been out of town. I don't want to usurp your throne, so here you go."
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because she's stuck between this. She loves Logan, but she's also honor bound. There's a very strong honor culture around these traditional Japanese figures,
right? Especially with with long running families too.
Yeah. So basically, she kind of has to begrudgingly accept this. Logan, unfortunately, cannot.
Well, he's Canadian.
Yeah, he's got a different code, different rules. So he sneaks into the family mansion, and he finds that Mariko is being beaten by her new husband. And when he walks in, he threatens to kill the new husband, but Mariko pleads not to because honor something
stuff.
It's a real hard scene to be like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, he's a piece of shit, but family honor. But wouldn't family honor also dictate not to beat your wife?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Well, not when you can marry her off as a repayment for debt.
Man, it's almost like they're in like a patriarchal society or something.
Yeah, kind of.
One thing I would like to point out with this is one of those anecdotes I like to bring in with some things. So she talks about how this there's this sword crafted by the famous supreme swordsmith Masamune 800 years ago. So Masamune actually was a real life swordsmith as well as fighter.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, Japanese stuff's cool.
Yeah. So, after we get with this this whole "don't kill my husband who's beating me" situation, Wolverine is going to have this kind of duel for honor, right, against Shinjin.
Well, he's going to have this duel for honor after he is attacked with some form of poison-tipped ninja star.
Shuriken.
I'm sorry. Shuriken.
Thank you.
Some form of poison-tipped shuriken.
Yeah,
that
so
comes
totally
out of
a
nowhere.
fair fight.
Yeah, totally a fair fight to go and fight Maruko's father.
Shinjin challenges Logan to a wooden sword duel.
Because he is not worthy. It's a sign of just you are not worthy of dueling me in a true life or death match.
I don't see it that way. I see that as him telling Logan that, so that Logan will discount his own worth. What he is doing, though, is he is trying to prove to Mariko that he's not trying to kill Wolverine. But as you know, in the duel, he starts going for these death blows, like these pressure points and specific joint spots that are going to cause severe injury, if not death, to a normal human.
In these scenes, it's just straight neck blows every single time. Like the jugular, nerve clusters.
Yeah, he's
word.
trying to convince his daughter, oh, it's just a simple little demonstration. I'm not trying to hurt him, but he's trying to bait Wolverine into doing something dishonorable.
Which he does.
He does.
Snink!
Snicked.
Snick!
There we go. He snicks. So he brought a adamantium knife to a wooden sword fight.
Right, but still, because he has been drugged, is just not able to win at all.
Even Wolverine does go out of his way to say, it's like, yeah, these strikes would kill a lesser man. And they're not doing him any favors.
And which, as he says in the beginning, my bones are covered in adamantium, and I have claws, which are also covered in adamantium.
Wolverine's not committed to the fight, unfortunately. He doesn't want to kill Shinjin. He just kind of wants Mariko back. Unfortunately, Shinjin's committed like hell and basically beats Wolverine unconscious. And as Wolverine is slipping into black, he hears Mariko disavow him. Which, little salt in the wound? Like,
it's gotta suck.
Real.
That's more vinegar in the wound than anything because it's liquid and it kind of flows into it.
Okay. Well, like a saline solution, but like an aggressive saline.
Saline. Pickle brine.
I was gonna go with swamp water, like a brackish, dirty,
like the water that both sharks and alligators can survive in.
Just murder water. Murder water.
Murder water.
Yeah.
That's ugh. So after Mariko just disavows him in front of her father, and well, Logan gets flying kick stomp to the face. He's in an alley. The term gaijin, a non-Japanese person in Japan.
Yeah.
Plays a lot into this as far as Wolverine dealing with him being out of his element extremely in this situation, especially whenever he gets confronted by a dude with a blade, a dude with a pipe, and a dude with a wooden bat. And he kills them all because, well, you know.
He's Wolverine.
He's Wolverine. But at the end of this whole fight, bloodied, poisoned, bludgeoned, dishonored, disavowed, everything, who happens to find him in a back alleyway? But a lady. To be continued in issue 2.
So not to be aggressively racist, I think, but where does...
That's a great way to start off anything.
Where does gaijin sit on the pecking order of racial epithet?
I think it's along the lines of like the K word.
Yeah.
Maybe for white people, like not the R word specifically in that issue of like what it's dealing with, but on the same pecking order of it. Issue 2.
Debt and obligations.
So Wolverine wakes up to a slap to the face. And ninjas!
Yeah. It's got to be an aggressive morning after.
He gets slapped in the face, there's ninjas, and then it goes this wonderful, just 2-page of Wolverine jumping out of a window with at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a dozen-ish ninjas.
And he's just murking them all.
Including the ones with arrows.
Yeah, so this ninja clan is known as the Hand. very famous ninja clan in Marvel.
They do, in fact, cash hands often, though.
Each hand member is equal to 12 ordinary men, and they're still getting the crap beat out of them.
Right, because, well, it's Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine's the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Around.
Yeah. Nothing's ever going to keep him down. Wolverine ends up dispatching the ninjas. Not much effort. And he escapes with this new mystery lady before the cops show up.
Named Yukio.
Yeah.
Not to be mistaken with Yu-Gi-Oh! That came out in 1996.
Yeah, no, it's not a small boy playing a card game.
Right.
So, Yukio is this kind of warrior assassin woman. She's envious of Logan's abilities.
Especially with his claws. They're retractable, forged of adamantium, as they cut armor plate as easily as rice paper.
They just describe the same stuff over and over again, which is great for jumping on points, but it gets a little...
Oh, I know, but I'm going to bring it up at the
repetitive.
beginning of every single issue when he brings it up.
That's fine.
Because that's how annoying it got to me at times.
Yeah. So she's telling Logan she wants to stop the Hand's leader, who's looking to push his way from crime to politics in Japan. And she also wants his Wolverine. So it's really kind of her endgame here.
And his ability to heal.
Logan denies her advances. So Logan's still loyal to Mariko. But then we get this nice little Wayne's World moment from Yukio. He will be mine. Oh, yes. He will be mine. But we quickly learned, let's not trust Yukio.
Especially whenever the next panel begins off with interlude at the top. So you know this is not happening at this exact time.
Yeah. So while Logan's resting, healing from his poison and ass whooping, Yukio goes to visit Shinjin. Davis, why is Yukio visiting Shinjin?
Because she's a two-timing bitch.
Yeah, she is his lead assassin.
Right.
She's playing Logan for a fool.
Right, but she still wants his Logini.
Yeah. You went with Logan.
Yeah.
This is just all going to devolve.
Still wants his link.
It's going to
This
devolve.
wants the Linguini. Anyway.
It's gonna devolve.
So she goes and talks to Shinjin about this. They're arranging this ultimate double cross, double play move.
Yeah, so her mission is to kill this opposing crime boss named Katsuyori. Now, that's not Mariko's husband. Mariko's husband's got a different name. It's got a hyphen in it. Katsuyori is going to be meeting with Mariko because Shinjin is this crime boss, and he feels like, Katsuyori may not try to kill his daughter, and he's going to play that hand. Now, he's going to use Yukio to trick Wolverine into killing Katsuyori by telling Wolverine that Katsuyori is this opposing crime boss who's trying to kill Yukio.
So not convoluted at all.
Yeah, real simple, real easy to understand. And then once it's over, Yukio's supposed to kill Wolverine as well.
Yes. Even Steven, line everything up.
Yeah, just no loose ends.
Right, rip his heart out.
No loose ends. I've dubbed this part Oceans 2. Because it's just Yukio and Logan breaking into Katsuyori's place.
Scaling walls, dropping balls.
Just like non-lethally murking ninjas.
Right.
Logan definitely does make a point to say they didn't need to die, so he's not going to kill him, which Yukio finds
which is-
kind of a boner killer.
Right, but it's still going with this whole this honorable assassin.
Yeah.
type of person.
Well, that's the whole thing, is that everybody keeps telling him he's dishonorable, but he keeps demonstrating over and over again that he's the only one with honor in this entire Kabuki theater play.
And it is actually they're infiltrating a Kabuki or an old Kabuki theater that has been turned to this dude's stronghold.
Yeah, I'm totally changing the way I do meetings from now on.
You're just gonna watch a play and then do a meeting.
Well, I get what would be the
Modern equivalent.
Southern equivalent, the modern Southern equivalent, like a one-man reading of a Tennessee Williams book.
Listen, if I wanted to learn about poor white trash in New Orleans, I just go walk around my neighborhood
And hear what people have to say about you. Shots fired. They're sneaking into this meeting, right?
in a Kabuki theater.
Yeah. Mariko and her husband, which we still have not to name because it's I'm not doing it. They're sitting down with Katsuyori and his wife. Not sure if they named her. Also not doing it.
Right.
These are non-essential humans. So they're watching this private play before the meeting.
Kushingura, the 47 Ronin.
Exactly.
The story of the retainers of a lord who avenged this death by slaying the man responsible for it, knowing that such an act would mean their own certain execution by ritual suicide.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Oh, very much. Well, but that's the thing.
Kind of a
It's
heavy way to start a business meeting?
you should at least play like a funny YouTube video beforehand.
Some a little lighter. But Wolverine is kind of sitting in the shadows, and he's realizing that the main samurai is not just an actor. He's about to engage. He's moving forward on the stage with a sharp katana. He's going to start cutting people. So what does Wolverine do, Davis?
He jumps in the action and counters the attack.
That's what Wolverine does.
Combo breaker.
Yeah. So Wolverine engages the samurai. Meanwhile, Katsuyori and his wife are like, screw this, I'm getting out of here. They run to the exit and hop in the car.
Boom.
Yeah, Yukio rigged it with some explosives because...
At one time, Mariko's husband does get pimp slapped by Katsuyori.
That's kind of fun. So Mariko's sitting there watching Wolverine dispatch the samurai. Samurai cuts Wolverine, and unfortunately, Wolverine goes berserker mode.
Berserker barrage!
So he kind of loses a little control a little bit. He doesn't kill anybody, but he's a little extra aggressive, which, oh no, you still managed to keep your wits about you, but you were a little more intense. Calm down. This is getting ridiculous. Mariko is ashamed that he would lose his cool and still not kill the guy that tried to kill her.
Berserker barrage!
How dare he? So Wolverine's kind of bummed out. Yukio is pretty happy with her plan's outcome. The crime boss is dead. Wolverine is further distanced from Mariko. And,
End of book 2.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
We later see Logan fighting a sumo wrestler in a backstage brawl. Roadhouse.
It's very Roadhouse.
It's very Roadhouse.
It's
with
a
him.
samurai in jeans. Oh, not samurai, excuse me. Sumo wrestler in jeans. And guess what happens?
He defenestrates him.
We could finally use that word reasonably.
Defenestration means to throw someone out of a window. As a matter of fact, there have been 2 defenestrations of Prague, and they both led to war.
Wait, what?
Twice, someone has been thrown out of a window in Prague and caused a war.
Read a book, kids.
Or Wikipedia.
This is what happens when you major in science.
You learn
your
nothing
fault.
of value.
God, I love that word.
Logan is basically wallowing in self-pity at this point. Just kind of partying around town with Yukio. Not a bad way to live your life. Just
No, not at all.
having fun with pretty lady.
I'd
like a good
love
time.
to be able to party around Tokyo, Japan, and just, you know, raise Cain, as he says.
Yeah. While he's out, he runs into Asano. It's his friend in the Japanese Secret Service.
Now, we've seen Asano once or twice before, but it was
he
mostly
was
like...
in the first issue, but
it was mostly
it wasn't really notable to talk about. It wasn't
Right, it was like a Wolverine, this is happening.
Yeah.
All right, Bub, I'm going to do this instead.
Asano's telling him that someone is taking control of the entire Japanese underworld. It's the direct result of Logan and Yukio's nonsense in issue 2. But he wants help from Logan taking on the boss because I don't think he knows that Logan did it. And Logan turns him down because I'm drunk with a pretty lady, which I get
I've
you.
done it.
I get you.
That's fine.
So, quick sidebar. Wolverine's drunk.
Yeah.
So, Wolverine has a healing factor which speeds up his metabolism, right?
Yes.
Now, what it does is it cleans poisons out of his system. Now, we
Yes.
saw earlier he can get poisoned.
Yes.
It's just for a shorter duration of time.
Yes.
So, there has been, historically, in Wolverine, past and future, a lot of...
Alcohol?
Yes, A, a lot of alcohol,
Cigars.
but B, kind of some details. Most notably, Wolverine number 900. He's having a night in a bar with Spider-Man. And it basically shows him going from tipsy to sober in moments. He just shoots a large amount of alcohol, like a full pint glass of whiskey. Just chugs that, his words slur for a second, then his speech clears up. And that's pretty much how he gets drunk. So the amount of alcohol to keep Logan kind of drunkish now, but you got to remember, as comics go, they kind of overblow powers
There's a little
over
bit of
time.
retconning going on. And plus, as I like to say, how whatever works in the scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, Yukio takes Logan to some train tracks to make out.
Right. Because I don't know
damn
about y'all.
kids.
I lived in the suburbs, so there wasn't a lot of train tracks that were secluded enough to make out
I'm
upon.
just saying, I did plenty of PG-13 level shenanigans.
On a levee.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no trains on a levee. There's cops every once in a while, and
But
pedestrians.
you just hide in the bushes. It's
and
fine.
animals. Them gators.
Just stay away. It's fine. Logan kind of realizes that they're waiting for a train to come as they make out on train tracks. He grabs her and kind of jumps out of the way last minute. He's like, this crazy
Dumb
woman.
bitch!
Well, he kind of asks her, he's like, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, look, the only way to feel alive is to almost die, which is basically is her entire philosophy of life.
Right.
It's just everything she does is to get an adrenaline rush.
Right, like jacking
She's
off
like
while
the-
parachuting.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right.
So, Wolverine, after doing this, like any good drunk man, passes out. I don't know. It doesn't quite make any sense why he passes out. But again, they kind of need him to pass out for the story. Because all of a sudden, the hand shows up. And Yukio was supposed to kill Logan, but she didn't.
Our mutual employer is displeased, Yukio-chan. You are supposed to slay the Gaijin. Wolverine, you have not done so.
Yeah, so they're basically like, you got to kill Wolverine or we're going to kill you.
That was translated from Japanese, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
It seemed very 80s.
It's all in
But
brackets.
very like 80s cartoon. It worked. So she's supposed to kill Wolverine or they're going to kill her. So, of course, she kills them all very easily because she's the best assassin.
Around.
Yeah. No one's ever going to keep her down except for Wolverine and his unrequited love. Meanwhile, Wolverine's having a nightmare about being a samurai, and Mariko won't marry him because of his unworthiness. Real thinly veiled metaphor there, Logan. Can we get a little bit more like ambiguity or something? It's just you just basically had the last 2 days of your life, only now you're wearing armor. But problem is, Yukio goes to wake him up, and what does Wolverine do?
He wakes up and says Mariko's name.
You never say another woman's name when you're waking up from a dream.
You know what happens when you do?
You get kicked in the face.
Just like he does. And knocked out again.
All I'm going to say here is that's a pretty solid capoeira wheel kick. And we're in Japan. That's all I'm going to say here. All I'm going to say is I feel like Chris and Mark, was Frank should have really done a little bit more research on how a heel kick is thrown in Japanese martial arts.
I'm just saying she might be multi-trained, multifaceted woman.
She went to Brazil to learn capoeira?
That's
So, Yukio breaks into Logan's apartment. I don't know why, honestly. This part kind of confused me. Because what is she going to get out of Logan's apartment without him there? Like, why does she break in? She could just go there with him. She's already there. Like, I don't understand the point of this scene.
his seed?
Yeah, let's leave his penis to go to his apartment to get his seed.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
what
as she's breaking in there, our dear friend Asano.
Yeah, the guy we just met 30 seconds ago, but we actually met in issue 1. We just didn't talk about him.
Right, but dude, him and Logs, they go back, man.
Apparently.
They go back like recliners, dude. He gets a knife to the neck.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And then Logan smells this knife.
Well, first he's got to stumble his way home.
Well,
Keep in
of
mind.
course he stumbles his way home.
Still stumbles his way
But then he
home.
finds this knife in Asano's neck.
And like any good person who finds their dead friend, you smell the murder weapon.
Right.
That's how you do it. That's what NCIS taught me. That's what Law and Order taught me. You smell the weapon.
Dunk, 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 dunk. Anyway, he smells this weapon, and we didn't mention this earlier, but they mentioned earlier how whenever he got hit with those shurikens,
Yes.
it had a
Poison shurikens.
specific smell to it.
A distinct odor.
Odor.
Yeah.
And he smells it again.
So
now he
guess
knows.
what?
That's right. Yukio was the one that threw the shurikens at him in issue 1.
The illusion has vanished. He knows that Yukio was playing him the whole time.
You better kill me now, Yukio. You won't get a second chance.
And she decides to run because she still loves him.
Yep.
The big, lovable idiot. Well, not big, he's 5'3". But still, lovable idiot.
Hairy, lovable idiot.
Yeah. She runs. Logan follows.
I do love the artwork in this. They have them running across the Tokyo somewhat skyline. I don't think, there's really tall buildings and it's clustered in one area as far as look at the skyline goes. But you just see typical Japanese like ads, like really big close-ups of mouths with things on it, just faces, and bright, bright colors.
All in neon. It's beautiful. So they crash their way into a Zen garden. Logan kind of extends his claws, getting ready to strike, and she pretty much calls his bluff.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he does kind of care for her a little bit. He can't kill her,
And ninjas.
Yep, of course, as usual.
Ninjas. As
the
always,
hand shows up.
arrow through the forearm with the string attached to it. They ATST him, or at least try to.
So yeah, the hand shows up, and of course, Logan easily dispatches them because
In roughly 8 panels.
well, after he does this, he kind of turns around, notices Yukio's escaped, sees 3 hand guys with knives in their neck. So she killed him and left.
And we also find out that apparently once a member of the hand is killed, they disintegrate.
Yeah, there's some weird magicy wagicy nonsense with the hand.
It is a little magicy
like
wagicy.
the hand is the opposing ninjas to the good ninjas. I didn't write down their name, but the good ninjas, the leader trained Daredevil, and then he eventually went and took over the hand and made them good-ish, and that's where electric. I don't know. It's complicated.
And then the same chemicals that gave Daredevil his
Yeah.
power are all the same ones that gave the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles their powers, and the Foot Clan fighting everyone else.
It's one of those classic Marvel things where they're just like, yeah, we created this entirely for this character, so let's just throw it into 9 other things.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. But what I do like now, this is probably my favorite part of the book, is we get a little introspection with Logan. Finally, he's going to look at himself for what he really is and stop listening to these morons around him. So he notices the disruption in the Zen garden of their fight, like all the pebbles and patterns scattered around, and he kind of compares it to his current position in life. Yukio is kind of wild, like his natural self. She champions embracing who you are, and Logan kind of fell to her when his life fell into despair. But Mariko is disciplined. Mariko is building the patterns in the garden out of the chaos. She's the ideal that Logan's aspiring to. Everything's fluid. You don't have to be static. You can change who you are little by little by little. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Can I quote?
Yeah, absolutely, Davis. Go right ahead.
Perhaps that's the answer. The key isn't winning or losing. It's making the attempt. I may never be what I ought to be, want to be, but how will I know unless I try? Sure, it's scary, but what's the alternative? Stagnation? A safer, more terrible form of death? Not of the body, but of the spirit. An animal knows what it is and accepts it. A man may know what he is, but he questions. He dreams. He strives, changes, grows. You took my dreams from me, Shinjin, but only for a time. Because I'm a man, Shinjin, not a beast. A man. That mistake is going to cost you. To be concluded.
Issue 4. Honor.
Honor.
Not offer. Ha ha! What?
What?
Really?
Not honor, offer.
You just had this beautiful moment, and you had to just poo-poo all over it.
It's called a dichotomy.
I'll die your cotomy.
Well, no, because all my nice shirts are already the color they need to be.
So as we stated before, the art of the recap. We get basically the full recap of the entire arc at the beginning of every issue. So issue 2 recaps issue 1. Issue 3 recaps 1 and 2. Issue 4 follows suit. Full recap of the entire arc. Because maybe you just decided to buy Wolverine 4 of 4.
Apparently that's how the 80s were. So we find out within page 2, he's a mutant with enhanced physical senses. His body has a knack for healing and is laced with adamantium, and he has claws. And also, he's not a fan of heroin.
What? Did it really say that? I don't remember that part.
The heroin, the money. He attacks these two Japanese gangsters exchanging monetary papers for drugs.
So what Davis is saying is that Logan has started to take down pieces of Shinjin's crime ring.
Taking it to the streets.
And that's how he's going to kind of send his message.
The streets.
Yeah, he's sending his message to Shinjin that way. Basically beats a bunch of ninjas, collects tons of weapons. Yeah, it's kind of getting ready for war.
Well, right. Well, that's the thing. He's just taking it out at all levels at this time. This is a total one-man war fighting the... we're not going to say Yakuza.
Very similar.
No one has said Yakuza so far.
Very similar to the Punisher.
Very similar
I'm
to the
taking down
Punisher.
this big wig by just slowly taking out pieces. Or like Daredevil at the end of season 1 on Netflix, where he's just taking out little bits of Wilson Fisk's empire, you know? So
when he got to jail, do you think he got Wilson frisked?
God damn it.
I know. It wasn't good, but it got the job done.
So Mariko is shown having an existential crisis. She's finally realizing what the rest of the readership has been the whole time. She's kind of struggling with this whole, I must be obedient to my father, but he shamed the family by being a piece of shit. But I have to honor him, but he's not honorable.
How can you honor that as not honorable?
Yeah, I don't even know why this is a conversation. Far be it from me that it's a different.
It's almost
different
like
world, different culture. I get it, I guess.
It's almost like she should be taking it to the streets.
Well, she kind of will in a minute.
Okay.
So, Yukio sneaks in and she tries to kill Shinjin. This is her penance to Logan for killing Asano.
And she gets caught by a net like a fish.
Yeah, she gets put in front of Shinjin and basically starts getting her butt whooped.
Ass whooped.
Yeah, he calls in Mariko, since they both have kind of this affinity for Logan. He's like, hey, this is what Logan gets you. And just starts beating the crap out of Mariko. No, excuse me, Yukio. Beating the crap out of Yukio, to which Mariko steps in and is like, hey, don't beat her. And Shinjin's like, woman, I'll beat you too. Calm down.
Smack.
Yeah, he's getting a little aggressive here. At this point, Logan's had enough. He kind of interrupts the whole game. And this is where you get the big not final fight scene, but the setup, I guess.
Yes.
Wolverine basically murks a bunch of ninjas. Everybody's kind of running to their respective end of scene kind of positions. Shinjin is preparing for battle.
Mariko's husband gets killed by Yukio.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's the only honorable thing she's done this entire
the whole time. Yeah. He tries to grab her and run out. Wolverine blocks the path. Oh, I did write his name down. Noboru. But there was something else there. It was Noboru something or other.
It's probably Noboru-sama because that's like it's that hyphen at the end. Mm-hmm. That's how you address certain people, like Chan-sama san.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Noboru-san would be like if you were talking to a friend.
Something along those.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a hyphen, I remember. I just don't remember what it was. He basically threatens to shoot her. So Wolverine's like, nah, you can shoot me. That's when Yukio kills him.
Yeah.
And Wolverine kind of has this weird moment. He can't thank Yukio enough for saving Mariko, but he also can't forgive her for killing Asano. So basically she just runs off into the night and that's it.
Yeah, and then we're followed by
the final duel.
A good old-fashioned blood fight.
Yeah.
So
my favorite moment, am I now worthy of steel, Shinjin?
Oh, God. And now, so Shinjin, while he says that, that's after Shinjin has already taken this 800-year-old sword forged by the expert swordsman Masamune.
Yeah. Takes the sword out, and we get this beautifully rendered fight scene.
I want an obsidian knife. Because, like, apparently obsidian knives cut things, like, they don't slice molecules in half. They separate them.
I don't know if that's real.
Okay.
It is real, but he totally said it wrong.
There we go.
So, we get this beautifully rendered fight scene.
I cut deep. Shinjin cuts deeper.
Just lots of great motion to it.
A lot of red, too, to kind of show, the anger and the blood all at the same time.
So both take numerous wounds, and Logan kind of gets to end the fight with this beautiful classic.
He's grabbed him by the collar in front of his neck, and then you see his eyes go blood red, almost as if he is only the berserker, but not fully berserked out. And then just as he has him grabbed by his collar, all you see is a bright and bold yellow tint. Snicked.
Yeah, the old classic, fist to the throat, extend the claw. Shinjin's dead. So
he's a gone pecan.
Okay. Futurama space chicken.
Y'all just grew up in the city part of the South. So after this fight, we see the true after effect, paralleling this concept of the samurai in the Kabuki theater. He has done all that he can do to get revenge upon this man that has ruined his life. So all that's left for him to do, if we were to just parallel this thing, is for Logan to die at the hands of Mariko. Because that is the honorable thing to dictate. That is honor at this time.
She has to avenge her father. So she comes into the room. Dark, it's muted. Logan's prepared to die at her hand. And she finally declares that Logan is an honorable man.
And she herself is unworthy.
So what do? You send a wedding invitation to the X-Men.
That was my invitation to the X-Men theme song.
From the 90s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I highly recommend reading the next two. If you buy the trade, get the next two issues of Uncanny. It's great. It introduces this great characters in it as far as like how Rogue became part of the X-Men. I actually had to Wikipedia.
It's like Rogue just starting out in the X-Men.
Right, I had to Wikipedia why he was so upfront with Rogue in those issues we're not going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to leave him as a little bit of an Easter egg for you guys, not spoil the entire book, something you can enjoy, but it doesn't really add anything to Logan's arc in this. It's got a nice beginning, middle, and end of this particular arc, so we're just going to leave it alone. So let's talk about some of the big themes here, Davis.
All right.
Big themes in this book. Honor.
Yep.
Honor. There's this whole kind of architecture of most of the book where honor is just, it's there. It's a thing. It's constantly there. You have this, noble, long-running family, and they are honorable because they are noble and long-running. By the end of it, it kind of says, no, you have to earn honor. It's not just these lofty titles and heritages. They don't mean anything. That you can lose your honor through your behavior. Like you don't get to be whatever you want to be just because you have this nice, honorable name.
It reminds me of that whole concept. I think you and I talked about this outside of the podcast, but it's that whole like, hey man, respect is earned, not given. It's okay, cool. So when I meet you, I don't have to respect you because you haven't earned it in my eyes.
Exactly. You have to earn it later at some point. You have to earn it over time.
Or hey, I just met you, man. In the next 5 minutes, I need you to do something that I can respect you with in order for me to respect you for the rest of this conversation.
Yeah, no. It basically shows that this animal, this just regular dude trying to be better over time, can be more honorable than these kind of hoity-toity, lofty, famous royal families kind of thing.
Right. In which they mention multiple times in there, our clan has been around since the Emperor's clan, and we could be the Emperor right now. We've had our lineage that long.
Good for you. You guys have been fucking for that long.
Yeah, no,
awesome.
No, that's fine. No, my family came over here. We've almost traced our family back to coming over on the Mayflower, but I'm not living in a rich house anywhere. No, I live underneath someone's house.
Yeah. Well, that's common in New Orleans, though. I did that for a while. Kind of nice.
My ceiling is a little bit higher than yours, though.
It's great for cooling, though.
I don't like being cool.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
Anyway,
I'd rather be hot.
Personal development, another great part of the story.
The one thing that I really say, no other superpowers in the story.
True.
No one has superpowers.
Except for Logan's healing factor.
Yeah, like he's the only superpowered person in the story, which is, for development, it's like, oh, wait, no, you are Logan. You're the whole, talking earlier with the Hulk versus Logan, the whole thing is what happens when you have an immovable object comes in contact with an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise of Hulk versus Wolverine.
Yeah, the initial.
So you have this immovable object who is dealing with things flying around him the entire time. So although he might not be immovable, he's still not moving.
Yeah, the story kind of takes away his invulnerability, for lack of a better term. It's more about his emotional vulnerability than his physical attributes.
Right. It actually develops this man of Logan, not just the hero of Wolverine.
Which is why this is, such a pivotal story for him. This is Claremont basically making him a character you want to read about, as opposed to just this, flying ball of claws.
Berserker Barrage!
Somebody say it develops the man, not just the X-Man. Somebody say it.
It develops the man. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this.
All right, hold on. It makes it so we can have things today like Logan.
Yeah.
And I would say even more so, this makes it so we were able to have that dichotomous character in the X-Men animated TV show. Mm-hmm. Because in the TV show, Wolverine wasn't just this giant badass ball thing. No, they still had the Jean Grey arc happening in that.
Yeah, he still had those emotional problems.
Exactly.
Dealing with that romance. Speaking of romance, it's also a classic love story. Mm-hmm. It's the Romeo and Juliet, it's the Titanic, but
with less suicide. For some reason, with it being Japanese.
Less suicide, but a lot more homicide.
And ninjas.
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet with ninjas, I'd watch that a couple times.
We would like doing Romeo and Juliet stories. It's just a great story. The star-crossed lover, the cross family lines. Like it's this repeating theme that we love in literature and we love it in television portrayals and plays and everything. And it's because it's a good story.
Unrequited
it's a really
love.
good story. It's a story you can relate to. It's so very rare in the modern age to go, well, I am this noble person and I'm going to date this noble person and we're going to have noble
our bloodlines
children.
don't actually know. There's probably a lot of stories in the South where it's like our bloodlines.
Yeah,
don't
no,
mix, but
there's
that's
probably a lot of that. It's not as romantic as this the classic star-crossed lover kind of line.
Right.
And then the classic Japanese story of the Ronin. The
samurai without the master.
The loss of honor from the noble warrior.
Would you consider Logan to be a Ronin?
No, I don't consider Logan to be the Ronin. I consider Mariko the Ronin.
True.
It's the duty above personal want. It's the self-sacrifice by responsibility.
Yeah.
It's the question of honor and doing what's right.
And then with her story, being in a position of power and honor and then getting usurped out of that.
Yeah. I do like that about the story, that the most, one of the most developed characters and arguably the most powerful character in the entire story is this woman, Mariko. She's a more honorable person than Shinjin. She controlled the family before and after he was gone.
And through her actions and words and just being is able to control Logan.
But she still has that inner turmoil about the whole situation. Let's talk about the art for a second. So
for 80s, it was really good.
The 80s, it's
like,
definitely
that's in my notes. That's the one big qualifier is I haven't read many old comics, but this is a 1982 one.
Yeah, it is the 80s. You have these muted colors. The technology just wasn't there.
I love the fact that instead of making his hair like black, it's just blue.
Well, yeah, it's that blue-black.
Yeah.
Like you have to make it blue to kind of,
show that it's black.
They had to over-exaggerate certain colors. Like when you see reflections, like they're very washed out. Mm-hmm. Like when light is shining off of something, it's a very washed out because the colors they didn't have the kind of technology that we do today to do these kind of digital renderings and these very specific gradients of color. But I love the muted colors. And even with that, they still managed to make very expressive and emotive, scenes, body movements, facial expressions. The pencil work's incredible.
The 8 to 10 panel fight scenes to where it's just on each page, it's 4 or 5 rectangular little fight scenes. If they took all of the dialogue out of that, it would still be wonderful.
Yeah, it's still a great portrayal.
It would look more Samurai Jack than anything.
The actual structure of the pages, like it's not that classic 9-panel grid. There are a lot of interesting things they did with the panel work. That is really cool. You'll see these overlaps into other panels as it's important to kind of convey the depth of the image. Like it's not a flat image. It's got some depth to it.
Right.
The scenes are intentionally not busy. Like the scenes themselves, it's very like the whole story is Kabuki theater.
Right.
The entire story is the characters are the stars. The backgrounds are not necessarily important. They just need to be their colors. The background is a color to convey an emotion of the moment.
Speaking of which, Davis's far theory from the left.
Go ahead, Davis. That's why I have you on the show.
So in Kabuki theater, I learned this from Nick Offerman's biography or autobiography.
Paddle Your Own Canoe?
Yes. In Kabuki theater, when they would have a scene where you would stab someone, they would stab through them in the side, like in typical things, but the person would grab onto a red scarf that was on the side. And when they pulled it out, the scarf would show the blood. Now, looking at modern anime, that same thing happens where you remove the thing and you just see blood flying out of it.
Yeah.
So it's all just a gradual evolution of this style.
Well, that's what influenced Tarantino with his use of blood work in movies.
Really?
Yeah. Like you ever notice when Tarantino in a scene when there's a wound.
Anime or Kabuki?
No, the entire evolution.
Oh, okay.
As a whole,
right?
As just part that's where Tarantino gets his from. It's this creation from Kabuki that has kind of evolved over time. But we do see it in these stories. Is it's about the character. It's about the use of color and movement as an expressive play. It's not about the backgrounds. It's not about the detail of the lamp behind you.
Right.
Like it's about what the character can
Foreground,
convey.
not background.
Exactly.
All right.
And most of the background work is color. It's entirely used to convey a moment, emotion, and emotion. The entire scene. And
again, a lot of good silhouette work.
Yeah, tons of good. And I don't know if
Really
that was
good
just a time crunch, it was an ink thing, or if it was an actual genuine creative decision. But
Why not all three?
tons of really good silhouette work. The scene where him and Yukio are running across the Japanese city, lots of great silhouette work there. They don't go out of their way to
Anything involving ninjas?
They don't go out of their way to detail the character in the shadows.
No, you don't.
It's the showing of a hand sticking out of a sleeve.
Hand, shadows, ninjas. We're kind of dealing with this subject, so
Exactly.
it makes sense.
So the last thing to do, let's wrap it up with some ratings. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first this time.
What you got, Davis?
Pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on. Explain.
Well, overall, wasn't blown away, but it was fun to see Logan in more human or normal life. I'd rather just watch the Wolverine movie, honestly. I mean, the beginning point is there. It leads into the later part of the trade where the Super Samurai rolls up in there. It kind of takes it. There is that wonderful, love story with it, but I don't know. I just wasn't blown away by this. I thought it was great. If this, going on 30 years ago when this thing came out, that was around then, it probably would make more sense. But I'm still used to my Logan. Oh, wait. Now Logan. Wait, where's this Mariko girl? Wasn't Logan in love with Jean Grey for like 10 years before that?
No, that was after.
Oh, well, I'm in my life.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, throwing it off. I'm going to go with a pass on this.
All I'm going to say about the Wolverine movie compared to the story is I want you to find the page in this story where Wolverine loses his healing factor. Because that was a very important part of the Wolverine movie. So yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm a huge fan of the book, though. I love this story. I say it's a buy.
Why?
I loved it because my problem with fiction is I don't care about human drama. I deal with that enough in my own life. I'll just pay attention to my everyday if I want to see that. But if you thinly veil it in a guy wearing a cape, or a robot from the future, or a monster climbing out of a picture, like that's what's gonna, sneak into my brain. And this is a beautiful story of honor, of personal growth, of love, of war, veiled in something that I can actually read. And a lot of people aren't going to read Romeo and Juliet and get it. They're gonna have problems doing that.
Yeah, I hate Shakespeare, so
Exactly.
I can't deny that.
This is a great way to read a good narrative about these kind of concepts, in a way that is more accessible. It's got tons of drama, tons of action. It's got intrigue. It's beautifully rendered. It's important to Wolverine, the X-Men, and Marvel itself's mythos. If you're a fan of if you're the guy that wants to, break down that chord progression of Back in Black because of how important that was to the progression of rock music, this is a story you kind of want to pay attention to, because this changed the way you told comics in the early 80s.
Are you really comparing Wolverine to the song Back in Black by AC/DC?
Absolutely.
You can't find another song to go off. You can't bring up anything. Who? Beatles? Nothing better?
AC/DC only had one song.
Back in Black is a wonderful song. You can shut your mouth.
All right.
And on top of it, it is the classic soap opera that everyone loved about the X-Men. This is what built Marvel. This is what made the X-Men so popular, was this classic soap opera of here's some powers, here's some love, here's some breakup, here's some wallowing, here's some more powers, here's a fight scene, they get back together. That was what made X-Men in the 80s and 90s. That is what brought Marvel to its heyday, was these kind of stories.
Now, we are saying this acknowledging Doom Patrol came first.
I'm not saying Doom Patrol did not come first.
Okay, cool.
But I'm also saying that how many Doom Patrol movies are there?
None.
Exactly. Anyway, buy.
Pass.
So borrow it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in the binary, thank you very much for joining us tonight for this wonderful edition of Jacks of Trades.
You know where to find us. Email Jacks of Trades Podcast at gmail.com. We are at Jacks Trades Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook.com/Jacks Trades Pod. You can find Davis. Where you at?
Every Wednesday at 7:30, I'm at the Mellow Mushroom on Oak Street in New Orleans, Louisiana, doing trivia. And every other Thursday at the Abita Brewery at 7 o'clock in Covington, Louisiana.
We've also been here with Daniel Desimone and Greg Tilton of In Depth Media, our behind-the-scenes guys. Thank you for joining us. And on that note, have a good one.
Adios.
Thank you all once again for joining us for Jacks of Trades. This is brought to you by your hosts, Mike Durette and Davis Callais. This is edited by Daniel Desimone, recorded and produced by Greg Tilton at In Depth Media. Thanks again.
Can we make a subliminal ASMR video where I just do mouth sounds in the background?